Hey everyone, 12 News meteorologist Stephen Matrigrano here with a Weather Now update for you. We're in a weather alert for snow and cold for this weekend, both days featuring some, impactful weather, if you will. First, let's talk about the cold, though. We have an extreme cold warning issued just to our west across western central Mass, all of Connecticut. That is for wind chills, down to minus 30. For us, we're looking at dangerous cold as well, but wind chills maybe down to minus 20. So we have a cold weather advisory. Definitely check back because this, of course, could update. It doesn't really mean a whole big difference in terms of the impacts to us, but certainly, regardless, very cold air on the way for late Saturday and into Sunday. So let's talk about some snow. We're looking at accumulating snow for our area. Generally speaking, 2 to 4 inches of snow, but locally higher amounts are possible. And we've really been talking about this the last couple of days, is there's going to be a narrow band of heavier snow that sets up somewhere in the area. So it's a narrow band about, maybe 10 miles or so across. It could be in eastern Connecticut. It could be over Rhode Island. It could be over eastern Mass. Pinpointing that location of that band is very important because, whoever's under that band where it sets up is going to be seeing, potentially a half foot of snow from this system, whereas everyone else around it will see generally 2 to 4. So that's what we've been talking about. We're really watching that closely to try to pinpoint that. But it's one of those scenarios where, you drive a little bit of a distance and it would be a whole different scenario when it comes to the snowfall total. So we'll keep tabs on that, of course. The snow does begin, though, after midnight tonight, continues through Saturday, ends in the evening. It'll be on and off at times as well over the day on Saturday. For Sunday, morning wind chills, minus 20 or so, frigid, gusty all day long. Just overall not ideal weather for anything outside the next couple of days. Here's our snowfall map. And again, we're calling for a general 2 to 4 inches of snow. But there's going to be locally higher amounts wherever that band sets up. Again, could be looking at potentially 6 inches of snow from that. So again, certainly looking at, a plowable snow across our area for late tonight and for Saturday. So this is why we're in a weather alert, of course. You have the weekend snow, wind, and cold, very strong winds. Of course, the on and off snow Saturday and dangerous wind chills as we head into Sunday morning. So looking outside Newport, we're looking at the breeze out there. Temperatures in the upper 20s to near 30, but it does feel a little bit more like the upper teens to near 20 or so in many spots with that wind that is out there. And the sun is shining in some cases, but there's also a lot of clouds around as well. So temperatures, like I mentioned, mid to upper 20s to even low 30s in some cases. So a little bit of that snow is melting in some locations at that freezing mark. Wind chill here, again, I mentioned those, upper teens to near 20 for many locations, depending on when the wind does blow. Here's that satellite and radar. There's our snow off to the west. There's a strong system, by the way, a storm off the coast there, that big, area of clouds and that big swirl. That is an intensifying storm that is moving away from us. And we're going to be looking at our impacts from this system tracking through Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New York as well. That is going to be what we're looking at for our snow. So here comes that leading edge of the much colder air. You can see that snow moves on in again after midnight tonight into Saturday, on and off at times during the day. Some of those heavier bands will be moving on through. And again, dropping down a plowable snow. We're calling for 2 to 4 inches when all is said and done here. But some locally higher amounts are certainly possible from those heavier snow bands where they set up. Again, pinpointing that is going to be the most interesting part of this system. Arctic cold behind the snow. So once the snow ends, very cold air moves on in, and it sticks around for Sunday. Again, dangerous wind chills early Sunday morning down to perhaps minus 20 or so in some locations. So definitely keep that in mind if you're having any plans at all this weekend. For this afternoon, no big weather issues, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 20s, low 30s, maybe a couple flurries are possible, but otherwise no big issues. Weekend forecast here at a glance. Again, we're in alert for both days. Saturday for the snow and Sunday for the dangerous wind chills down to minus 20. That is a check of your forecast. Thank you for tuning in, though. Hopefully you can just stay inside this weekend and avoid these, snow and cold conditions. Take care.